Here is my presentation on loading and moving bins in room 138, phase 2. We have bins that are full, bins that are empty, and we have the ladder in 138. I do not have the exact measurements of the ladder. I believe this is accurate enough. Even though this plan is largely to scale, the issues that exist in the floor plan are that the bins actually do fit in this space. The bins do not fit through this aisle in this orientation because there are spouts, gutters that exist. So the morning begins for phase 2. We have up to 10 empty bins waiting outside the door. These bins have been placed here the afternoon before by the trucking crew. The bins can also be stacked, so it's okay that they look like they don't all fit lined up against this wall. The first thing that the Nancy and her assistants will do will move in empty bins and place them in zone 1. Zone 1 can only fit 8 empty bins, and that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we eventually have to start using 10 bins, they can go there. 9 and 10. Because the ladder will need to be used for the top shelves. The ladder will go in this orientation to access rack 1, shelf 1, the top shelf. One assistant can lift up the bin at an angle and place the dolly under the bin. They can drag the bin into position to be filled by Nancy. Or that would leave one person there. Or if we do not want one person there, they can put the bin on a dolly and they can push the bin into position. That will leave nobody here, only Nancy on the ladder placing items in the bin. Nancy goes up and down the ladder, the bin gets filled. Then the full bin gets wheeled over to a working area closed and labeled with the numbers. Then the bin gets wheeled to zone 2 for staging. The full bins get placed in zone 2 in this way. We have one aisle, which will always be empty for people to walk through. We have room for 10 bins to be staged in this order: bin 1, bin 2, bin 3, bin 4, bin 5, bin 6, bin 7, bin 8, bin 9, bin 10. So they will be ascending as they get staged in this order. This aisle also remains blank because when the trucker crew comes in, they need this space to lift in a coordinated motion to stand on either side and lift this bin and place it on a dolly. That is also why there are these spaces, because people will have to stand here to lift in a coordinated motion. So we're talking about all these racks, the top shelves. When rack 1 top shelves are done, we need to move the ladder out of the way. I believe the ladder can be rotated and put into the aisle in this way. Then we can access the remainder of the shelves in rack 1. When rack 1 is done, we're going to rack 2. I am not sure where rack 2 begins in this drawing. So either the ladder will be again accessed, the top shelves will be accessed with the ladder in this orientation, or we might be able to access the shelves with the ladder in this orientation, where Nancy steps up, grabs the baskets, steps down. This is phase 2. Phase 2 will be used for these shelves and these shelves. So as we are accomplishing the unshelving of baskets along these shelves, the ladder can just continue to be used and then push forward, moved out of the way. When we get to 3, for example, we use a ladder for the beginning of 3, and then when we're done, we just move the ladder along and it's out of our way. When we get to the end of this rack, the last rack in this row of shelves, we'll need the ladder for the beginning, and then it can be moved out of the way. Probably just over here. Maybe on that day we don't have room for a 9th or a 10th empty bin, and that's okay. Now, when there are 10 or so packed bins in zone 2, then it's time for the truckers to come take the bins. So as I described, they're going to enter the door, they're going to place a dolly here, they're going to take bin number 2, load it, take it out of the room. Bin number 1, load it, take it out of the room. Bin number 4, load it, take it out of the room. Bin number 5, load it, take it out of the room. Bin number 6, load it, take it out of the room. Bin number 5, take it, load it out of the room. And so on and so forth. This means that the bins with the lowest numbers, in this case 1 and 2, are going loaded first. They are in the back of the truck. They will be offloaded last. The bins with the higher numbers, in this case, they could be bin number 9 and 10, will be loaded last. They are at the front of the truck. They will be offloaded first. That is my presentation on phase